I'm Mike Bornman. I'm requesting your vote for LA County Sheriff on June 2nd, 2026. Let's figure this out together.
Candidates are lining up to challenge LA County Sheriff Robert Luna in 2026. Captain Mike Bornman, you see him here. He is one of several challengers. Yesterday, we had former Sheriff Alex Villanueva on the show to make his case, and today we're joined by retired Captain Mike Bornman. Congrats on the campaign. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, it's your opportunity. Let's start with who you are and why you're running.
Well, I was with the LA County Sheriff's Department for 36 years. I had a wide variety of assignments while I was on the department. Everything custody, patrol, operations, administrative, criminal and administrative investigations, federal task forces. I created a couple of bureaus on the department, created some programs on the department, things that are still in place today. And I had a very long, active, rewarding career.
And what now makes you think, I need to get back into it, I need to challenge the incumbent, I've got to run?
You know what? Just because I retired doesn't mean that I've taken my eye off the ball or that I've turned my back on my brothers and sisters in law enforcement. I have been watching with horror over the last couple of years as I've seen the department that I gave my life to apparently on a race to the bottom. And, you know, I can go into the crumbling infrastructure, the deputy sheriffs, and only, you know, 25% missing, the triple-double shifts. I used to get annoyed when they had to work double shifts. Now they're working triple-double shifts. They're worn out, they're exhausted, they're tired, they don't feel supported. I've had people asking me for quite some time now, Mike, would you please get in? Because I have a very well-rounded background and experience with the department. I've got the education, the training, the experience, the wherewithal, and the ability and the desire to do the job. I could step in right now today and start leading the department out of where it's at and getting it into a better future.
You know, a lot of these elections, name recognition is key, let's say that. And so we mentioned former LA County Sheriff Alex Villanueva was here last night. A lot of people know him because he was already leading the department. Right. What's your strategy to get out there? What are you going to be doing?
That's my strategy, to get out there. I plan on knocking on a whole lot of doors. I plan on making a whole lot of visits to different parts of the community. And, you know, a lot of it's going to be word of mouth and relatively grassroots, because even though I was well known on the department, yeah, people in parts of the county aren't going to know who I am, but I'm going to make sure they do.
You take over day one. You said you can fix it. What do you do? What's the biggest change you make?
Well, one of the first things I do is a complete 100% forensic audit of every dime spent by the Sheriff's Department. Not just how much is spent, but where it's spent and why it's spent. I guarantee you that there are things in that budget that made sense 2, 3, 5 years ago that make no sense today. I also guarantee that there are things that do make sense that aren't funded or are underfunded. That would be step one. The other thing is we've got to stop the bleeding with our deputies. Our personnel are screaming out for help, and you know, I think it's going to take a leader who can just relate to them and let them know, you know what, I care. I love the deputy sheriffs, every one of them. I was one.
When you say stop the bleeding, what are you referring to specifically?
Metaphorically.
Sure.
We're losing people at an alarming, historic rate.
So you're talking about recruitment and retention.
Yeah, and you know, we can't recruit, hire, train, and retain people fast enough to even keep up with attrition rates. And until you do that, the graph's going to go like this with personnel. So we have to, we can slow the exodus, I think, because a lot of people are retiring early because they're disgusted. People are lateraling out because they're disgusted. You know, they're quitting early, just saying, hey, forget it, I don't want to work here anymore. Once they see that there's leadership in place that actually cares about them, I think we can slow that slow decline out. But we do need to hire more deputies.
We do have a statement from the department about recruiting and retention. Let's put that up there if we could. They said to us that we are actively recruiting and are funded for 8 academy classes this fiscal year. So far, we have seen a 36% increase in the number of applicants.
That's great. That's great news. But I think that getting an applicant, you know, getting 1,000 applicants, you might end up with about 3 or 10 deputies, right? So, you know, the biggest recruitment tool we used to have when I came on was people on the department who loved their job and who would tell their families, their brothers or sisters, or family, relatives, that it was the greatest job in town. And that's how we would recruit people. Now we actually have to go through a recruiting process, a recruiter to bring people in. And it's, I see it as a fine stopgap, and I'm glad they're doing it. But I think it needs to be done more and more efficiently.
Thank you so much for sharing your views, and best of luck out on the campaign trail.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.